Hello. Thought I would do a little mini video, probably 3 to 5 minutes long each day. And I thought I'd focus on a topic. So if you've started this year on a new fitness and nutrition regime, or you're thinking of doing one, basically I'm going to share with you one tip per day. So we're going to do about 10 tips on basically how to set yourself up for success. So the reason I'm doing this is, I've paid close attention to the people that I've worked with over the years. And there are certain areas that most people have difficulty with, particularly if they're very new to, trying new things in terms of their health and fitness. So these are the sort of areas that present the most challenges and obstacles. And they're the areas that people typically, have problems, get frustrated and angry, or even get to the point where they give up because it's too hard. So I guess what I want to do is highlight these so that you've got some awareness of what that might look like for you, and whether you go and, source out, a plan to follow, or whether you engage a coach because you actually want to get serious about your goals, or you recognize that you need some help. These are some of the areas or the typical challenges that you're going to need to overcome. So the more we're aware of them, then the easier that can happen. Or if you've got somebody, whoever's on your team, whether it's coach or someone else in your support circle that's helping you make these changes, you can troubleshoot those areas and set yourself up and refocus on success, right? So to help you get on track from the start, here are the tips, but I'm just going to share one today. So tip number one, maybe you don't know. I know. Who would have thought? So I guess here what I'm trying to say is that one of the biggest pitfalls that some people falter over, maybe this is someone when they've tried to do something else in their life, if it's not you, when they start a new regime of any sorts, is what I call the I know syndrome. And you might experience this even with some of your colleagues at work and things like that as well. And I think the best way to describe the I know syndrome is through a few examples. So imagine you're teaching someone who's never been in the kitchen before, or doesn't like being in the kitchen, and you're teaching them a basic, how to cook eggs, for example. And that beginner keeps turning up the heat too high, burning and ruining the eggs, and nobody likes burnt eggs. And then that person that's learning just keeps asserting that they're not a good cook, and they're just not good, and they'll never be good at it. And you're there helping them and trying to teach them, and you suggest that, perhaps you might do better if you just try to turn down the heat. And what do they say? Oh, I know. Okay. Then let's go on to another couple of examples, because I think we get the idea of where I'm heading with this pretty quickly. So, and it takes someone who in the gym is complaining about not putting on muscle mass, and being a bit skinny, and just not being able to gain the muscle mass that they want, right? And you tell them, okay, well, there's two basic things that you need to do, and it's like, generally, you've got to eat more, and you've got to lift with more intensity or heavier weights, right? Pretty simple. And what does he say? I know. And then if you take someone who's potentially, they're overweight, their doctor has told them, you know what, you need to eat less and exercise more. And what do they say? I know. So I think we've all heard, I know. I think some of us have probably thought it sometimes as well. And we've heard it so often, right, from either people we know or, potentially ourselves on occasion, if we're going to be honest with ourselves, because I know I say it sometimes. That, the words just wash over us. They don't have any meaning anymore. And they essentially rob us of an opportunity, right? And I'll get into that in just a minute. And if you think about it, right, if these people did actually know how to turn down the heat, lift heavier, eat more, exercise, eat less, whatever they need to do, well, maybe they don't know. Because the reality is that you can know information, but if you can't translate that into action, then it's not actually knowledge. So you don't actually know, right? And maybe you've heard the information before, but you don't really know anything until you've actually successfully done it, and not just once, but repeatedly. And I would even suggest taking it a step further and being able to teach others, right? Because then you know that you've learned something you're doing yourself, and then you can actually teach people to do it. So I know really is a mental shortcut, right? So it enables us to basically step over and just kind of step over emotions and things that we don't want to address. We don't want to actually look at the problem and actually, solve it, and look at why potentially we're not doing the things that we say we know. And so we shut off our brains to stop thinking about it, stop thinking about how to apply the information, and basically to avoid action. So I guess the thing is if you're going to start any kind of fitness regime or get a coach or do anything, then one of the first steps to being coachable or to setting yourself up for success is to accept that maybe that everyone's got room for improvement, that maybe you don't know, or you don't know well enough yet, or you don't know at all yet. Because if you really knew, you'd be doing it, right? And then, if you were doing it, then you wouldn't need help or be seeking out resources, and, everything would be fantastic. So that is tip number one. Maybe you don't know. Stay tuned for a few more over the coming days.